Hola a todos, espero que estén bien. ¿Cómo están? Yo estoy muy bien hoy y gracias por estar aquí hoy en esta lección 7.1, los verbos reflexivos. Okay, los verbos reflexivos. Now, you might ask yourself, what is a reflexive verb? What is a reflexive verb? What does it make you think of? Reflexive. Okay, so a reflexive verb is a verb that reflects the action back onto the subject. Okay, and that would be things like me baño or me despierto or me duermo. So it's any of these verbs that you do to yourself or one does to oneself. Okay, and a lot of times these are usually used when talking about la rutina diaria. La rutina diaria, and that's what we're going to talk about in this chapter. So you'll have a short assignment due after this, a video assignment where you record yourself talking about your rutina diaria. Okay, so I'll talk to you a little bit about mi rutina diaria. See if you can get some of this. So a lot of these are going to involve expressions of time, expressions of sequence like later, after. So let's go. See if you can get some of my rutina diaria. Okay. Primero, first, a las 8 de la mañana me despierto. Me despierto. Me levanto a las 8:15 y a las 8:30, 8:30, me ducho rápidamente. Me ducho, ¿no? Después desayuno un café y unos huevos y pan tostada. Y a ver, después pongo a trabajar. Me pongo a trabajar, me siento en la silla y me pongo a trabajar por unos emails, unas lecciones, poner asignaturas, cosas así. Después de trabajar a las 5, me voy al gimnasio o me voy a correr, a hacer algo de ejercicio. Después a las 7, típicamente juego algunos videojuegos. Después de esto, a las 8, cocino la cena. Típicamente ceno tarde, a las 8:30, a las 9. Y después me pongo a leer un poco. A las 10, a las 10:30, me voy a la cama a leer y típicamente a las 11 me duermo. ¿Cómo es tu rutina diaria? ¿Qué haces tú en el día? So we're going to be using these reflexive verbs and reflexive pronouns, okay? So something you do to yourself, like I said, I bathe myself, I shower myself, I wake up, I wake myself up, I put myself to sleep, okay? So we're going to be talking about verbs such as this. Okay, let's go ahead and go to our PowerPoint. Ya vamos al PowerPoint. Uy, no lo puedo ver. A ver. Voy a compartir mi pantalla, perdón, ¿eh? Aquí está, muy bien. Ok, adelante. Bien, so a reflexive verb, make sure you're following along in the notes and also following along with the sentences that I'm saying. Make sure you're repeating after me when I'm talking in Spanish, okay? So a reflexive verb is used to indicate something that the subject does to him or herself, or something one does to oneself, okay? In other words, it's like you're looking in a mirror, right? It reflects the action back on the subject. Okay, so reflexive verbs always use reflexive pronouns, and these are going to be very similar to our indirect object pronouns that we looked at last chapter. Okay, so we can say Joaquín se ducha por la mañana. That's our reflexive verb. Now, our reflexive verbs are often identified by having this se on the end. That se on the end, and that's going to let you know that we're talking about a reflexive verb. And if you see a verb like this, it means to wash oneself, right? Or cepillarse, to brush oneself, or ducharse, to shower oneself, okay? Or despertarse, to wake oneself up, okay? Now, let's take a look at what is the main difference that you guys see. ¿Cuál es la diferencia principal entre los objetos indirectos y los los pronombres reflexivos? What's the difference between our indirect object pronouns and our reflexive pronouns? Here are our pronouns here. So the main difference you can see is that the usted, el, ella form and the ustedes, ellos, ellas form is not le and les, but se for both of them. Now, so you ask yourself, how are we going to be able to determine the difference between the third person singular and the third person plural? As you can see, although both of the pronouns are se, we have an ending that is different. Se lava, right? He washes himself. Se lava, he or she washes him or herself. Se lavan, they wash themselves, okay? So the ending on the conjugated verb will differentiate between the two pronouns here that are the same. But that's the main difference between our indirect object pronouns and our reflexive pronouns. That third person, the se for both instead of the le for the singular and the les for the plural indirect object pronouns, okay? So the pronoun se attached to an infinitive identifies the verb as reflexive. So, por ejemplo, lavarse, despertarse, levantarse, ducharse, bañarse, okay? Now, so when a reflexive verb is conjugated, the reflexive pronoun agrees with the subject, okay? Thus, reflecting the action back, okay? So we have to match our conjugation, afeito, I shave, right? Now, that's not necessarily needing to be a reflexive verb, because you could say, I shave my dog. I don't know why you do that, but you're not doing it to yourself, so that would not need to be reflexive. But me afeito would be I shave myself, okay? You can wake something up, but when you wake yourself up, that conjugation needs to match the pronoun. Te despiertas a las 7. Right? Te despiertas a las 7. Bien. Now, like our object pronouns, reflexive pronouns generally appear before a conjugated verb, except for this exception there with participles and with infinitives, like we looked at in the last chapter. And they may be placed before the conjugated verb or on the end of the infinitive or present participle, right? Ellos se van a vestir, or ellos se van a vestirse. Nos estamos lavando las manos. Estamos lavándonos las manos. Now, when a reflexive pronoun is attached to a present participle, an accent mark is needed to maintain the original stress, just like durmiéndose. That's just like notificándote, right? Same thing. We need to change that. So our accent is on the original stress of the present participle. Okay, bañándose. Bañando, bañando. Second to last without the pronoun there, but with the pronoun there, it makes it go to the third. So we need to make sure we're maintaining the original stress of the present participle. And that would be called an esdrújula. Esdrújula, when you have it on the third to last syllable. Okay, now here are some common reflexive verbs. So go ahead and pause the video, take a minute to write these down in your notes, and make sure you're studying these for your vocab quiz on Sunday. So go ahead and pause for a minute. Okay, now we have a lot of different verbs here. Let's think about why these would be using reflexives, okay? To go to bed, because you put yourself to bed, right? To remember, me acuerdo, I remember, something you're doing yourself, right? To shave, you shave yourself, okay? He bathes himself. I brush myself the teeth, okay? So these are things that we're doing a lot of times associated with our daily routine, but it's something we're doing to ourselves, right? Bien. Okay. Now, unlike English, a number of verbs in Spanish, excuse me, can be reflexive or non-reflexive, like I was saying, right? If the verb acts upon the subject, then we need the reflexive form. But if it's not acting on the subject, then we would use the non-reflexive form. Here's an example. Okay, this is a great example because she's washing the plates. Lola lava los platos. That's almost a tongue twister. Lola lava los platos. But Lucia se lava la cara. Lucia is doing that to herself, right? She's washing herself the face. Okay, we'll get into why we do it that way instead of saying my face in a little bit. But Lola lava los platos. She's doing it to the plates. She doesn't need to include that reflexive, whereas Lucia se lava la cara, right? We need to have that reflexive in there, okay? Good. Now, as the preceding sentences show, reflexive verbs sometimes have different meanings when their non-reflexive counterparts are than their non-reflexive counterparts. For example, lavar means to wash, but lavarse means to wash oneself. So when you see that se on there, it's just saying to oneself, right? Okay, now parts of the body or the clothing are generally not referred to with possessives. So if you wanted to say, I need to brush myself the teeth, or I need to brush my teeth, right? We would say my teeth in English. In español, we say the teeth. Necesito cepillarme los dientes. Necesito cepillarme los dientes. Or la niña se quitó un zapato. We would say the girl took off her shoe. In Spanish, we would say the girl took off a shoe or the shoe, right? So remember, parts of the body or clothing are generally referred to with, not referred to with possessives, but just articles, okay? So we don't say my teeth, we say the teeth. Me duele la cabeza. My head hurts, right? It hurts me, the head. La niña se quitó un zapato. She took off herself a shoe. I need to brush myself the teeth. Okay, so using articles, not possessives. Okay, muy bien. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to complete the assignment below about using these reflexive verbs in your daily routine. Muchas gracias y nos vemos la próxima. Adiós.